This is News Today with WDW News Today. I'm Tom Corliss of WDWNT.com. Please like this video, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell to make sure you never miss the latest from the Disney theme parks all around the world. But here now the news for February 17, 2025. A permit indicates construction of the Disney Villains Land at the Magic Kingdom could begin as early as March 1st. Realtor Ken Posick uncovered a permit on a construction bidding site titled Disney Magic Kingdom Expansion Villains Land. The permit lists a start date of March 1st with an estimated budget of $25 to $50 million. The budget would only be for initial work like clearing the land. Construction of the actual ride, shops, and more will cost hundreds of millions of dollars. The project will be 14 acres in size. And for reference, the Magic Kingdom is currently 107 acres in size. Disney said the land would have two major attractions, which the permit indicates will be a roller coaster and an indoor ride. The permit does not mention the Cars expansion of Frontierland, which also includes two attractions. Of course, that'll take over most of the rivers of America, resulting in the closure of Tom Sawyer Island and the Liberty Square Riverboat. The Disney Villains Land will be constructed somewhere behind Big Thunder Mountain out back of the park, also taking over some of the river. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad is closed right now for an extended refurb, in part to prepare for the land's construction nearby. Though the permit lists March 1st as a start date, construction may not actually begin on that day. It may not be visible even until sometime later. New parts are being installed and Imagineers are gathering at Big Thunder Mountain Railroad as the attraction's lengthy refurbishment continues. Our tour of Big Thunder Mountain begins with a view from the Walt Disney World Railroad. As we noticed during our last report, the attraction's maintenance barn has been completely removed from backstage. All of the concrete that acted as the foundation of the building has now been removed, and the dirt has been smooth in its place. Orange and white barriers have been erected around the whole area as well. The shorter barriers also provide a quick glimpse of the backstage dumpster and parking lot. Moving forward to the actual mountain, tall metal scaffolds have been installed around the rusty windmill above the Gold Dust Saloon. The scaffolds around the abandoned stagecoach and the construction walkway are still present. The large yellow and gray Atlas Copco air compressor unit is also still on the left. The air compressor is often used in construction for tasks like sandblasting. Two construction crew members were working on one of the mountain's tall peaks on this side. One crew member was holding a cable and wearing a welding helmet, so it appears they may have been preparing to use some tools. Moving past the town of Tumbleweed, two crew members were slowly guiding a piece of metal that was being lowered by a tall crane. They both stopped to wave as we passed by. Zooming in a little closer, this metal is not one of the track pieces we recently saw being installed. This instead looks like a support piece that are often placed underneath sections of track. Finally, we saw a large group of Imagineers gathered together on one of the lower walkways. They were talking while looking up at the mountain, discussing the construction progress. Next, we move to the Liberty Square Riverboat for a view of the opposite face of Big Thunder. The tall yellow crane still looms over the entire area. And while it may not be related to Thunder Mountain work, we did notice a new blue pipe laying on the ground next to two totem poles facing the river. The entire right curve of the railroad track is still wrapped in metal scaffolding and covered with construction walkways. It appears the holes in the cave have still not been filled, so the spray-painted signs remain across the ground. And two crew members were sitting for a short break when we passed by. Orange cones still line the construction walkways, scaling the rocks on the left side as well. Closer to the water, we could see a gap where the track was removed and workers used a jackhammer to open up the base of the mountain. The hole is still largely empty and more orange cones line the side to keep crew members from falling in. Next to the hole, the wagon holding prop barrels has still not been moved out of the way. And next to the wagon, more wooden planks and metal beams are staged. And through the scaffolding, we could see where the ground surrounding one of the concrete support beams has been torn up. The plywood has been pushed to either side of the beam, implying we'll see more work in this area soon. From a side angle, we can see a large trough that has been dug into the mountain where the track used to run. Another support beam in the distance has been partially removed, so it appears the crews are either moving them while the ground is altered or the beams are being repaired. A wider view of this removed track area shows a large scale of the construction work, and while left side is covered in metal scaffolding and stairs have been added on the right, some of the nearby props and lights in the area have been covered in white plastic scrims to keep them from being damaged. Finally, the tag props are still sitting on the shelves and have not yet been moved. So, of course, Big Thunder Mountain is scheduled to be closed all the way into next year. An exact reopening date has still not been announced. Walt Disney World has extended theme park hours for the Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom between March 2nd and 8th. According to the Walt Disney World website, the Magic Kingdom will be open from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. on March 2nd and 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. on March 3rd. On March 4th, the park will be open from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m., and on March 5th and 6th, it'll be open from 9 to 10. On March 7th and 8th, the Magic Kingdom will once again be open from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. Early entry for hotel guests on March 2nd and 3rd will be 7:30 to 8, while early entry is beginning at 8:30 a.m. from March 4th through the 8th. Meanwhile, Disney's Animal Kingdom will be open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. on March 2nd and 3rd. On March 4th, it'll be open from 8 to 7. On March 5th and 6th, the park will not see extended evening hours as it will be open from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And for March 7th and 8th, the park will be open from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Early entry for hotel guests March 2nd through the 4th will be 7:30 a.m. to 8 a.m., while early entry will be at 7:30 a.m. from March 5th through the 8th. Operating hours for Epcot and Hollywood Studios remain the same for that week, with both parks open from 9 to 9. A new experience allowing guests to help design a custom pumpkin carriage out of blown glass is now available at the Crystal Arts shop in the Magic Kingdom. The new experience offered at Crystal Arts on Main Street, USA costs $125 and was highlighted in a short clip shared on the Arribas Brothers Instagram account. The experience of creating the pumpkin carriage is broken down into steps. First, the guests choose a color for the pumpkin center of the carriage and a second color for the stem. After making their choices, guests can watch as one of the in-store artisans blows and bends the glass into the correct shape. Once the glass pumpkin is complete, it needs to sit in a cooler for at least 12 hours. Guests will need to return to the store to pick up their cooled creation, or they could choose to have it shipped home. The custom pumpkin carriages is the second personalized experience added to the Crystal Arts as of late. Back in January, the store also added the hidden Mickey tiaras and scepters experience, which allows guests to create their own tiara or scepter using a birthstone of their choice. This program is brought to you by our official travel agent sponsor, Be Our Guest Vacations. Your dream vacation begins with Be Our Guest and their concierge team of expert vacation planners. Head on over to beourguestvacations.com/WDWNT, and their team will design your next magical vacation, from the Walt Disney World and Disneyland resorts to the Disney Cruise Line to Adventures by Disney and more. And the best part is their concierge services are 100% free. Wow, that was loud. That's good. So book today. And if you don't believe me, here's what a couple of our viewers had to say. Sarah Vasquez, this is our second trip using Lainey, and she is amazing. She sends out reminders with enough time, but also reminds you very close to the due date. She is kind and friendly. We'll recommend her to anyone. I've asked her the same question a million times, and she's always open to answering them with kindness. We really appreciate that. Stephanie Alvis said, we booked our first Disney cruise and first cruise ever. Kim made everything so easy and had helpful recommendations for first-timers. She even provided directions to our cruise terminal the morning of embarkation. We're definitely going to cruise again, and we'll be booking with Kim. Thank you for providing excellent service. We had a great time. And Christy Case said, Michelle Anderson was super helpful and helped plan each aspect of our vacation and made the planning process so easy and smooth, unlike my reading of anything today. But yeah, those are actual testimonials from those of you watching, those who provided. We appreciate it. And if you do book with Be Our Guest, please send us one. We'd love to hear more about your pleasant experience. The previous complimentary Walt Disney World annual Passholder magnet featuring Ray from The Princess and the Frog has been replaced early by Minnie Mouse. The change was announced on the My Disney Experience app. According to Disney, quote, please pardon any inconvenience, but the Ray Passholder magnet will no longer be available for pickup at Epcot after February 16th. From February 17th through the 28th, pass holders will have the opportunity to pick up a Minnie Mouse Passholder magnet at the Creation Shop during normal operating hours. Didn't get the chance to collect the Ray Passholder magnet? Well, pass holders who visit Epcot between the 17th and the 28th may be eligible to receive a Ray Passholder magnet in the mail later this spring. To receive a Ray magnet, be sure to confirm or update the address for each pass holder in your household with a valid U.S. mailing address. The reason for the cutoff isn't given, though it may just be a supply issue. I think they ran out. You can see the Ray magnet here. We're showing it to you. And guests who want to pick up the mini magnet, again, need to bring their annual pass and ID to the Creation Shop, and signage outside the shop will point you where you need to go. The mini magnet is not new. It debuted way back in November of 2022. Guests riding the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, actually don't have to ride to see it, at Disney's Hollywood Studios may have noticed a water leak in the queue for the attraction, which is actually not something that's broken. It's an old effect that has been missing for nearly 25 years. Although guests may think the attraction has sprung a leak as a pipe running across the ceiling in the queue is now dripping water, the water leak is not a maintenance issue, but again, something that is intended to happen. After exiting the pre-show library room, guests riding the Tower of Terror enter what is supposed to be the hotel's boiler room. To see the restored water leak, guests must choose the line that leads straight ahead when the queue splits. The pipe dripping water is meant to further tell the story of the attraction, which of course has been abandoned since 1939. The water is angled to drip into a small tin can sitting on a table. The can is surrounded by piles of rusted tools and parts, and of course there is a drainage system actually there. A note stuck to the edge of the table reads, "Order replacement parts, guest elevator 2. This was restored as well. Again, another unsettling detail warning guests that everything may not be quite right with the elevators. The water leak effect was present when the attraction opened back in 1994. However, after a few years of operation, the water suddenly stopped dripping, and it has not been on for about 25 years now. The Twilight Zone Tower of Terror celebrated its 30th anniversary last July and has been receiving a lot of maintenance attention in the last year. Of course, the scorch marks around the elevator shafts in the hotel lobby were restored to coincide with the anniversary. And additionally, a new Magic Band Plus effect was added to the library pre-show, causing the bands to light up in sync with the lightning strike in the film. Now, if you ever watched me live stream from Hollywood studios back in the day, we used to do it every day during the COVID reopening, but there are other things that are supposed to happen in that room that please restore the mist. I'm begging you. For those that don't know, there's supposed to essentially be a fog underneath. If you ever wondered why that walkway is raised and there's kind of pits all around, it's because there were fog machines under there, and there'd be sort of a mist in that lower layer of the room, which is really, really cool. But don't listen to me talk about the Tower Terror. We do have a video right here on the channel, back when we had our Stage 89 event. All of the Imagineers, or most of the original Imagineers who created the attraction, I think it was like an hour and a half they talked. Maybe it was shorter. I don't remember. Either way, it is a spectacular presentation. Please go watch it right here on the channel if you have time. Highly, highly recommended. The demolition of Chester and Hester's Dino-Rama to make way for the new Tropical America's Land at Animal Kingdom is picking up speed as the entrance sign has been demolished overnight. In new photographs over the green construction walls lining the now closed Dino-Rama, the entrance sign has been completely removed. The large billboard held by 2 dinosaurs used to peek over the top of the walls. The entire sign, including the posts that held it in place, have disappeared. Large excavators were just entering the area, but nothing had been demolished yet. The entrance sign for Chester and Hester's Dino-Rama was bright yellow with red lettering, and the right post was held by a green dinosaur, while the left stood next to a blue dinosaur giving a thumbs up. While not visible over the construction walls, the back of the sign used to be a play on the classic Mickey quote, "See ya real soon." Meanwhile, the large concrete dinosaur at the other end of Chester and Hester's Dino-Rama, called Cementosaurus, is still standing. The remaining base of Triceratops Spin is also still visible above the walls, and from a higher angle we could see piles of construction equipment and the now empty roof of Chester and Hester's Dinosaur Treasures. A different section of Pandora, the world of Avatar at Animal Kingdom, is now closed for repainting the bioluminescent pavement. The walkways and bridge that cut through the land in front of Navi River Journey are now closed. They're blocked by temporary green barricades at all of the entrances. The walkway usually allows guests to explore the nature of Pandora, including alien plants and water features. The paths remain open on the other side of the land, closer to Flight of Passage. Crews are repainting the purposeful cracks and designs in the pavement. The glow-in-the-dark paint gets worn down as guests walk on the path, so every couple of years they have to refresh it. The paved sidewalks are designed to look like flattened dirt covered in moss and feature plant prints as well as animal footprints. Meanwhile, work was completed on the walkway that was closed in late January. You'll see this continue to roll through the land until they complete it. But I think it's been almost every other year, maybe even annually at this point. But I'm glad to see them keep this up. It's an important part of the land. According to a new update from Disney, the Bat exhibit located in the Maharajah Jungle Trek at Animal Kingdom will be closing for a short refurbishment. The new update can be found on the official Bats page of the Walt Disney World website. Text below the area's main image says the exhibit will be closed starting February 17th. The text also mentions that the bats are expected to return in early March, but no exact reopening date is listed. Assuming the exhibit reopens by mid-March, the total refurbishment time will be about 3 to 4 weeks. The notice of the refurbishment has not yet been added to the main Maharajah Jungle Trek page, but I think no one will probably notice because everyone's in a 3-hour line to see a baby tiger. No one's even going to know the bats are gone. A closing date has been set for JellyRolls at Disney's BoardWalk. The bar confirmed the closing date on Instagram. The last day of operations will be Saturday, April 19th. The dueling piano bar has been a mainstay of Disney's BoardWalk for almost 30 years. Of course, we first reported on the rumors of the closure back in October of last year. The bar confirmed the closure finally on February 1st, although said they would be moving. They still have not said where they'll be moving, even though they have a closing date. But the rumors indicate that Disney will be building a jazz club/bar in its place. This is, of course, all part of the ongoing reimagining of the BoardWalk that began a couple years ago. Many new venues have opened, and a lot of old venues have closed in that time. So again, I'm going to reiterate, no, they still don't have moving information. Maybe they're not. Either way, it's not going to be on Disney property. It leaves our zone of coverage. JellyRolls will leave on April 19th. So we'll try to keep you in the loop if they do announce they're moving somewhere. But again, the expectation is there will be no announcement. Anyway. In a post to the Disney Parks X account, the company shared a short video clip of Anthony Mackie arriving unannounced to a screening of Marvel Studios' Captain America: Brave New World at the AMC Theater in Disney Springs. After a few moments of stunned silence, guests sitting in the theater started cheering and taking Mackie's photo. Mackie carried a bowl of popcorn down to the first row of the theater, where he spent a few moments interacting with the audience and thanking them for supporting the film. Captain America: Brave New World is the fourth Captain America film released by Marvel, and the first to feature Mackie as the titular hero. The film was released back on Valentine's Day, and the AMC Theater at Disney Springs hosted a special D23 member preview on the 12th. The thing I noticed in the video was the theater was not full, which I thought was slightly embarrassing, considering that they had the star of the film show up. It's not a good time for Marvel. I don't know about you, ladies and gentlemen, but I kind of wish Marvel had flopped before they ruined California Adventure. That would have been great. Anyway, enough editorializing. On to the next story. Did you know there's a way you could save big at Disney Deluxe Resorts? Well, today's show is brought to you by DVC Rental Store, a great way for you to plan a luxury Disney vacation on a modest budget. You don't need to sign up for a full DVC contract, but instead, they allow you to rent the points you need for a magical stay. It's the best way to stay deluxe at a fraction of the cost. And now, thanks to their lowest price guaranteed offer, you'll always have the best price on the market. The rooms are discounted up to 75% off at times, and they have the largest member inventory, so there's a lot to choose from. You can search their availability for free right now, which is not something all companies offer. And if you do choose to book, they have a great cancellation policy and a low down payment. DVC Rental Store is the #1 DVC rental company in the U.S. It's one we've used many times before they were even a sponsor. If you've ever watched a DVC room tour, chances are it was booked through them. So head to our description to check them out. Also, real quick, I want to mention Carousel of Products at carouselproducts.com. We are still taking pre-orders for this guy. Get yours now. Isn't he cute? I love him. You get him now before they're all gone. We're not going to reorder them, so when they're gone in typical Carousel Products fashion. Also, we still have $5 t-shirts. There's more than these, but I think we still have small. Mentioning California Adventure before Marvel ruined it. We still have these 20th anniversary shirts. These are just in small, and we do have a couple sizes of this one, which is the map of California Adventure, but in the shape of the state of California. These and some other shirts we're liquidating, $5 each, and of course lots of other great items to peruse there at carouselproducts.com, and all those purchases go to support what we do here at the site. In a new Change.org petition, guests are asking Disneyland Resort to reinstate ex-cast member Phil Bailey, who was fired for writing an autobiography about his experiences as a cast member without receiving labor relations permission. Phil Bailey is a U.S. veteran who worked for several years at Disneyland Park. Bailey specifically worked at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge as one of the attraction cast members for Millennium Falcon's Smuggler's Run. In 2020, Bailey published an autobiography titled Magical Moments, Memories and Reflections of a Disneyland Cast Member. The book describes Bailey's journey as a cast member and is extremely positive regarding his relationship with Disneyland Resort. The description of the book is experience the wonder and joy of working as a Disney cast member outside the entrance plaza of the Disneyland Resort. Relive 3 years of magical moments of interacting with Disneyland guests and fellow cast members at the happiest place on earth. Furthermore, Bailey's biography on the back of the book describes his experiences as an astronautical engineer, a jet pilot, a flight instructor, and a teacher. Nonetheless, Bailey claims working at Disneyland Resort has been his favorite job yet. Disneyland Resort has been the most amazing, the most enjoyable, and the most rewarding job experience of my entire life, he said. The new Change.org petition brings attention to Bailey's plight, titled Urge Disneyland to Reinstate Phil Bailey, an inspiring U.S. veteran and authored cast member. The petition, which had only been signed by 54 people at the time of our writing, is described by the petition starter as coming from a deeply personal place driven by an unsinkable fondness for a cast member that embodies the vision and spirit that Walt originally intended for Disneyland. The petition goes on to call Bailey a rare gem and says the experience at Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run is not the same without his constant smile. Bailey was fired again for reportedly not receiving the proper permissions for the Disneyland-related content in his autobiography prior to its publishing. Phil Bailey's autobiography can be purchased digitally for Kindle on Amazon. It's worth noting again, that was published during the over 1 year closure of Disneyland Resort, so it was done while he was technically not employed by the resort, but nonetheless, that's what's going on. If you want to support, go fill it out. All the available Magic Keyholder Park passes for Disneyland Park on May 16th, the first day of the 70th anniversary celebration, are now gone. On the Disneyland website and mobile app, park passes for Disneyland Park are now unavailable for May 16th for all Magic Key holders. May 16th, again, the start date of the celebration, even though the park won't officially turn 70 until July 17th. Park passes for DCA are still currently available. Of course, you could park hop, and DCA will be part of the celebration with a brand new nighttime show and more. Park passes to both parks are still available at time of writing for those with a standard date-based park ticket. The Magic Key program, of course, is the equivalent to annual passes. No surprise there that annual pass holders want to be the first to experience the 70th anniversary. The top of Snow White's wishing well at Disneyland Park is gone and has been gone at least since Valentine's Day, when it's a popular photo op. Disney removed the green roof that usually sits above the well, the support poles and stone base still in place, leaving the well looking unfinished. There are small brown boxes atop the supports attempting to cover the exposed hardware. The roof's removal is presumably part of a refurbishment, but the timing was very unfortunate, as this is a very popular photo op on Valentine's Day specifically. The well is molded after the well from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Cinderella and the Evil Queen sometimes appear near the well at Disneyland, which is part of the Snow White grotto. And it's to the east of Sleeping Beauty Castle, with statues of Snow and the dwarfs on the nearby rockwork. The first of several new animated popcorn dolls, or I believe they're called Roastie-Toasties, has arrived at Disneyland Paris, and the new doll is Mr. Toad. In a post on X by user PixieDustBE, we are able to get our first look at Mr. Toad. He's wearing his classic red jacket with a blue bow tie. Both of his hands are attached to the metal rod turning the popcorn drum. The dolls, again, are colloquially known as Roastie-Toasties. The new Mr. Toad doll is found at the popcorn cart in Fantasyland, which is appropriately placed across from his restaurant, Toad Hall. Disneyland Paris previously announced on their website that the resort was working on several new popcorn dolls that will be released around the park in phases. These new dolls carry on the tradition started at Disneyland in Anaheim of having unique dolls matching the theme of each land where the popcorn cart is located. In the release, Disney shared photos of cast members designing and painting another new doll shaped like a man wearing a baseball uniform. Of course, that one will be on Main Street. Some of the other popcorn dolls previewed in the background of the photos include a figure wearing a diving gear for Discoveryland, the Statue of Liberty, again, also Main Street, and Willie the Giant, which we presume will also be Fantasyland. Disneyland Paris has not announced when more of the new dolls will be installed, but I love these. This is great. This is something that doesn't improve the bottom line per se. It's not something that they'll see a definite financial impact from, but it's just a great surprise and delight thing that'll make guests happy. And the more of this that happens, the better. In a new Instagram post by Natasha Rafalski, Disneyland Paris shared photos of songwriting duo Kristen Anderson-Lopez and Robert Lopez visiting the park. Rafalski is the president of Disneyland Paris, and she explained in her post that the two songwriters were provided an exclusive first look at the world of Frozen under construction. In the pictures, the couple is seen wearing safety gear and posing in front of Arundel's castle. Kristen Anderson-Lopez and Robert Lopez are the songwriters responsible for the soundtrack of both of the Frozen films, as well as the Agatha All Along song from the Disney Plus series WandaVision, and many more Disney songs. The duo is expected to continue their long-standing work with Disney on Frozen 3, although no details have been revealed as of yet. Interestingly, these photos give us an updated look at the construction progress on the World of Frozen in Paris, which was announced along with the entire expansion of the park. and the land is expected to be finished before the end of 2026. It should be similar to the land that opened in Hong Kong Disneyland, although it will have one ride instead of two. There will be slight differences other than that, but the Frozen Ever After rides at those two parks should be about the same. Construction of the newest World of Frozen reached a milestone back in October when the tallest mountain of the area received its final peak, and it's part of a multi-phase transformation of Disney Studios Park, which will soon be renamed to Disney Adventure World. Disney Cruise Line has announced several experiences for the upcoming new vessel, the Disney Adventure, including the first ever Duffy and Friends show aboard Disney Cruise Line and a new shop themed to the characters. Making its debut on the Disney Imagination Garden stage, Duffy and the Friendship will feature original new songs. Guided by the seagull Tippy Blue, Duffy and his friends will set off on an imaginary voyage to explore the high seas. In addition to the show, guests will be able to meet and take photos with Duffy and his friends. Also debuting on the ship is Disney Cruise Line's first ever Duffy-themed store, the Duffy and Friends Shop. Here, guests will find a variety of items, including their favorite characters, as well as pick up a guide for the Duffy and Friends Discovery Quest. During the ship-wide experience, guests will follow clues to help Duffy and his pals find their missing items, and eventually players will earn a commemorative gift. Several other new offerings have also been announced for the ship, including a new stage show starring Captain Jack Sparrow and other experiences. Captain Jack Sparrow and his pirate crew will battle with an ink-squirting giant squid and hunt for rare treasure in the new show, Captain Jack Sparrow and the Siren Queen. The new show will be performed on the Disney Imagination Garden stage as well. Also on the adventure, the all-new Marvel Style Studio will allow guests of all ages to don hair, makeup, and clothing options inspired by the characters from the Marvel Universe, including Iron Man, Spider-Man, Captain America, Captain Marvel, Thor, and Black Panther. At select times during the cruise, the space will transform into adults-only lounge with bookable beverage tastings. After guests get transformed, they can enjoy one of 3 Marvel attractions on board the ship at Marvel Landing, including Disney Cruise Line's first ever roller coaster. Children aboard the ship can experience a royal tea party with some of their favorite Disney princesses at the new Royal Society for Friendship and Tea. This afternoon tea offering will include treats, stories, and music, teaching the Society's values of kindness, bravery, and determination. Each guest will conclude their experience by taking home keepsakes to commemorate their official Society membership. Finally, a returning favorite, the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, will also be aboard the adventure, offering a magical salon experience for guests ages 3 to 12. Covering looks from elegant royalty to adventurous sea captains, guests can choose from a variety of costumes, hairstyling, makeup, and accessories. The Disney Adventure will set sail from Singapore for its maiden voyage on December 15th of 2025. More voyages are available for booking now. For the absolute latest on these stories and all that didn't make it into today's show, be sure to check WDWNT.com and follow us on all your favorite social media platforms. You can support the entire team behind this show and others by joining the WDWNT Interglobe Society at patreon.com/WDWNT. Get access to exclusive content, discounted show and event tickets, and more. A special shout out to our WIGS members watching who make the show happen every week. For the worldwide leader in Disney Parks news, this is Tom Corliss saying, enjoy the rest of your today and have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.